We are an institution devoted to academic freedom, to the free exchange of ideas, and to civil discourse.
The Vassar community promise is this promise of care and concern and empathy and interest in a better world.
Community is based on dialogue.
We as good citizens must look to the better good and not our own selfish desires.
We're all together in this small enclave for 4 years, and we connect in many, many, many ways. So the problem that I see now is that an indifference to members of the community affects all of us, and that's troubling me deeply.
Vassar, again, its mission is important. It's not a corporation, but it has taken heavy hits. It's not a college that is looking to make cuts in order to protect its profits. It's looking to figure out how to sustain some of the goals we all believe in. But it's concerning. We want to make sure that the ways decisions are being made, we have a voice in. We want to democratize the process. We want to make sure it's open. We want to make sure it's very transparent, that we understand the kinds of constraints that the administration does face.
But do they want us to, like, obsequiously just, you know, fall into line? We weren't taught to do that here at Vassar. We were taught to question and to ask.
It has also had a huge impact because it has drawn me into passionate discussions about principle with students, other faculty, and staff. Now that's very, very exciting. The way we operate at Vassar is we're so busy and separate and going our own ways. But to draw together as a group to talk about what we most value is very, very exciting.
Our community has been changed into those who are defenders of the administration and those who are critics of the administration. Any real conversation has not taken place.
I felt so hopeful, and I really believed that we could create a better history and that Vassar would be a leader in that better history.
In women's studies, we teach about women in the global assembly line, about the exploitation of workers around the world. And to feel that that exploitation is now being conducted at the institution where I work is extremely troubling.
The avenues of communication that used to work well in a college are now more adversarial.
We have professors fighting amongst themselves in polemic discourse, you know, and it's kind of like what the White Tower does. If we keep discussing it, we don't have to take ownership of any of it.
How can we react to the crisis in such a way that everyone sacrifices, but no one is sacrificed? I deplore the assumption that some must suffer grievously so that the rest of us may remain relatively untouched. I think this is immoral and feel ashamed to be associated with an institution that acts in this way. I think that sums it up very clearly, that there are many people who feel that there are other solutions to the problem other than the ones that we are following. And I think that this is a plea from this faculty member to the administration to open up the avenues of communication and see if we can't solve this problem in a more equitable manner.
Can't we make concessions that allows everyone to maintain their dignity, you know, to maintain some sort of income to try to get through this recession?
That a college, for example, is not a business, and therefore it cannot work like a business. We are in the business of education. Education is our business, but we are not in business. And therefore, the most naked or brutal laws of the market cannot be allowed to operate in a way that makes weak people pay for it. This is not, we are not living in the Darwinian jungle.
You all contribute to helping us think about how we could make cuts that are that are less painful.
It's your education, and you need to decide how the educational institution that you work in and study in, how it conducts itself.
Too many people are just letting it go by because it's not affecting them.
It came with a moral value, but I left Vassar not only feeling that I had this moral value, but then I had a responsibility.
I think that you're doing the right thing in making your voices heard and letting this community as well as the outside community, and that's where I think you need to do more work, is to let the outside community know how things are happening within the walls of Vassar.
I think it's really important that you push all of us for greater transparency in the process, for opening up, for democratizing the process, and in asking all of us to share the pain.
Nobody wants to be out picketing and looking foolish and making cardboard signs. It's humiliating. But when you're not given an appropriate opportunity and a voice, it leaves you no other option. Okay? It's horrendous that we have to stoop to this and that we have to rely on children, young adults, to be a voice for us because ours is so marginalized.
It's time again where students claim again their right to engage in free, unimpeded exchange of ideas.
And I had a mentor here that said to me, I just painted my house, Rob, and I spent more than you're going to spend on this education. Aren't you worth the coat paint on a house?